There's a lot of stuff that's already set up, ready to roll, and you can literally just copy paste the code. If it's open source, just copy paste the code, and then bam, you've got it on Kaspa. So you are literally getting the best of all world. You've already got infrastructure set up, and now you can put it on the best layer one out there. It's insane. Ashton, Wolf, how are you guys doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm just trying not to get attention to myself. Because the first thing you guys do is talk about hackers attacking Elon shitting. Now you start mentioning the hacker's name. I'm just trying to be quiet. I've been in a lot of fights in my life, and I know this is the moment that you stand in the corner and you shut the fuck up and you just wait and see. And when your opportunity is there to hit whoever comes past you with a chair over the head, so that you can get out of this. But yeah, no. Other than that, it's been a hectic couple of weeks for me.
You're
Same for
right,
you.
Wolf. You're right, Wolf. You know, with any luck, Elon Musk is going to fail the recording of the show today.
Yeah, hope so. It makes me worry, man. But yeah, hectic few weeks. Other than that, all good. And you, buddy, how are you?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. Yeah, I've seen you've have had a busy couple of weeks. I mean, you've been really I can't get my fucking words out. You've been doing really well with your Wolfie token as well. I can see that's been doing extremely well. So congratulations on that, man.
Yeah, I think I beat everyone. But that's okay.
Wolf, you're so humble.
Yes.
Teach us your ways.
Yeah, yes. But I said this in the beginning, so it's not humble. I told everybody this is what's gonna happen if you push real revenue into it. It's gonna start building up in that way. I'm getting good following. We keep on selling NFTs every week also, and every week I get at least one or two people that's what would you call it? Complete wolfsters, or completely bought into it and part of the family, and then all the people that's part of the wolves tend to continue to purchase every single month as they get funds. So it's all just building up and growing and growing and growing. So it's all very natural and good. So I'm very happy and pleased with that, because that's exactly what I want from the start, to get something that's sustainable and it's going to grow into a bigger business because of that. But yeah, other than that, it's just been a struggle with Mr. Wolf and his Frit. That's been the thing that's hit us for the last 3 weeks. That's been really tough. But yeah, other than that, I know you've also gone through your personal struggles. Those are the things that tend to throw you over a bit.
Yeah, they certainly throw challenges at you. That's for sure. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And yeah, it's all part of being an adult, I suppose. It's horrible. It's a horrible part of being an adult, having to deal with all the stress. But dealing with stress is an important thing in life. So if you can deal with an immense amount of stress, you're going to do well in life normally.
Yeah, it's one of the things people always ask me, how you do that. And I just think it's because of all the weight training over the last 25 years. In weight training, in essence, the thing it teaches you is to push through pain all the time and build a tremendous amount of pain into your day every single day. And if you do bodybuilding to the level that I've done it over the years, you're always in pain. So there's always something that's painful and you need to deal with. But because of that, your mind becomes very honed to being in uncomfortable positions, and you don't really get phased or fluctuated by it anymore. So it's a very good way to teach yourself how to use stress. So even if you're not into building big muscles or pursuing it for that matter, it is a very, very good tool if you want to be successful and be entrepreneurial, is to actually do weight training.
Or just punch yourself in the face. It's a lot quicker and probably save you a few quid as well. And you still get the same amount of pain. So, yeah, I'm only joking, man. I totally agree with you. It's all good for, like, weight training is good for everything in general, really. Mind, body, soul, all of that stuff. So, yeah,
Yes.
and it teaches you to push, keep pushing, even when you think you can't. And that's what it's all about. That's what life's about. Just keep pushing through the shit, and you'll get to the good.
Yes, so everybody that's worried about the cash price, you just need to push through, start purchasing, get into it, because it's coming.
Oh, I didn't even look at it. What's going on with Kaspa? Is it? It all depends on your time frame. It's a nothing to me because and it genuinely is. I know people keep saying like, oh, some people have said that I'm just a perma bull, and in some respect that's true. I am a perma bull for Kaspa because I genuinely have such a long-term vision for Kaspa. This is just noise to me. If you're someone who's holding for a few weeks, few months, few days, whatever it is, then yeah, this is big fucking news for you. You've got to be on it all the time. But for me, I'm not in it for a quick flip. I'm in it because I genuinely believe in the tech and I'm in it for a long time. So this genuinely is just noise to me. And it's been a good, well, actually, it's been a blessing for me because I've been able to load up a bit more, which is fantastic. I never thought, like, genuinely didn't think we'd see these prices. Well, at one point, I didn't think we'd see these prices. But like I said, like people do think I'm just a perma bull with it, and I am to some degree. But I've said to a few people previously, before all this started going down, that I had targets that I thought it would get down to, like there was a possibility. And that's what you've got to do. Like if you are in this for trading, you really have to have two perspectives, like always. And it's because nobody knows what the hell's going to go on all the time. You just don't. You just have weighted opinions, and you just need to have, like, when one opinion gets knocked out that you thought you had, you then have to quickly pivot to the next one. And a lot of people can't do that. But like I said, for me, the price of CAS is just a blessing at this price. So I just keep pushing through. I love it.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting to see because I didn't look at anything that I own. So not the shares that I own, not the crypto I own. I never look at any of it because it's a mental nightmare if you do that. You need to. I'm just not good at that. So I never look at it. I just see when I purchase it. I say, "Whoa, shit! This is a lot more than the last time that I purchased it."
It all comes around with a big enough time frame. As long as the fundamentals are good, you're normally going to be all right. A lot of people have such a short time frame vision. They can't think. Well, they can't even think a year ahead, let alone 2, 3, 4, 5 years ahead. And that I'm like, that's just human nature. We're TikTokers now. We have to have instant gratification, and we can't even look at a screen for longer than 2 seconds before we flick it off to the next one. So with a generation like that, of course, we're short-term thinkers, but you really need to do your future self a favor and think long term. But again, you have to do your own research in that as well. Nobody can make that decision for you. You have to. I'm strong in my conviction because I've done enough research. You need to do your own research and get that strength and conviction as well. But I do want to move on because I can see we've got Christian up here as well. I just want to say hello to Ashton first. Ashton, how are you doing?
Fantastic, man. Thanks for having us again. I feel like I finally recovered from the crazy travel. I figured I was super optimistic. I was like, a day or two, I'll be back to normal. Then a couple of guys in the community were like, no, you need a full day for every hour in time zone difference you were. I'm like, that 10 days is too long. Forget that. It's just too much. But I agree 100% with what you guys are saying. I actually loaded up another 125,000 casts this morning in my personal bag. So keep it low. Let's get as much as we can here before it starts skyrocketing because it's the value's there, right? And I'm sure you were talking about weighted opinions, and I'm sure Christian will have a strongly weighted opinion for us too. I'm excited to hear his story.
Yeah, 100%, man. You know what? I'm actually on the verge of selling some gold. I'm just waiting for it to come back. Like the price is locked in, and I am just sort of selfishly praying that we still stay at these lows until that money hits my account, and then yeah, that's going into Kaspa for sure. I've literally just rallied up every last penny I've got at the moment, including part of my holiday fund, which the missus doesn't know about yet. That has gone into it. I am seriously not suggesting everybody do this. I just have a I do this because I like to torture myself sometimes, but it's certainly not for everyone. Obviously, you've got to do your own research and all the other bollocks that gets you out of trouble for saying stuff. But for me personally, this is a golden opportunity, like absolutely golden opportunity. So I'm actually thankful for this for sure.
Dude,
but I'm glad to see
not
you're
agree
doing
with
good.
you more. Yeah, for sure. I could not agree with you more. I won't take up too much of your time. But yeah, I sent my wife on a chase this morning of collecting things around our house. We can Craigslist or eBay and get rid of. It's like spring is coming. Just combine spring cleaning with Kaspa acquisition. That's my goal.
I love that. Yeah. You don't need all of your kidneys and lungs and stuff, do you? Just out of interest.
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure you can go with one kidney. We had a couple guys in Romania that were joking around actually at the conference about they were going out to clubs and stuff. Dan and I didn't do much of that, but they had a running joke about how after the first night they were running on one kidney for the rest of the conference.
Oh yeah, that's a very Romanian thing to do. But luckily we've got a household full of people, so it isn't just one kidney. We can get away with quite a few. But yeah, anyway. It's really good to hear from you, man, and glad you're up here. I know you can't stay too long, but hopefully you can hear from Christian. And Christian, how are you doing, sir?
Good. Better than ever.
Awesome. I really, because I actually really want to deep dive into into you and how you started out in crypto and your journey so far and where you are now. But before we do dive into that, what's your take on what's happening with Kaspa at the moment? Oh well, not just Kaspa; it's the whole market, isn't it? But
Yeah, it's nothing is acute to Kaspa. I've been saying that since we were at 20 cents. Um, our pullback from 20 cents lines up exactly with the altcoin market cap. And it makes sense that we pull back as well instead of, after the massive run we've had, just continuing to slow up against the river. Now is the time we kind of had to go downstream a little bit to reset. And I tweeted this morning that Caspa's closer than ever to $1 here at 5 cents than it was at 20 cents. And what I mean by that is time wise, we're closer to $1 now than when we had 3 attempts to break 20 cents. Because it's very unlikely that we could have sustained a rally to go past $1 from those first few attempts at 20 cents. But now retesting support around 5 cents, it makes a lot of, a year and a half of consolidation and distribution. It just paved the way for a sustained run past $1 and quicker than people think. So as long as you didn't put your entire life savings into Caspa and were over allocated and never took any profit, then you should be celebrating this
yeah,
opportunity to buy more.
it really, really is, and I couldn't agree with you more on that. And what you said there as well about we're now closer to $1 than people probably have ever realised than when we were at sort of 20 cents. It's so true because I think this is actually quite a healthy correction. Like you said, nothing can just keep going parabolic forever. And if it does, you're probably looking at a meme coin pump and dump, because they sort of, it seems like they go parabolic forever and then they just dump hard. These pullbacks are really necessary. Just looking from a trader's perspective, you need these pullbacks. If you don't have these pullbacks, there's something seriously wrong going on. And also to add on to that, it's not just the crypto market, it's literally all markets are dumping hard. So it's not like I know people can get really emotional and scared when things like this happen, but you have to use logic. It's not just Kaspa. If it was just Kaspa dumping this hard, then yeah, I certainly think you'd have to reevaluate. But it's not. It's every single market you can possibly think of dumping really, really hard. And I think it's a healthy correction in my opinion.
Yeah, completely agree.
Awesome. Right, I really do want to get into everything about you, if that's okay. So I do
Chris,
have a
before we get there, sorry, I just wanted to add a couple of things before we do the deep dive into Christian. I just want to say, if you're struggling to listen to this app and you want a more smoother transition, we've got Crypto Pumps, who's live streaming this entire show over on YouTube. If you know anybody that doesn't even have an X account and would like to listen in, send them over this link. It's pinned up to the top on a jumbotron. And also, just before we dive into the OG story of Christian Ludwig, please hit that repost button, do that whole shabazz, get everybody in here, and let's hear what he's got to say.
100%, man. Crypto Pumps is an absolute legend as well. So if you do go over to watch Crypto Pumps live stream, make sure you give him a follow and a like. The guy is brilliant, and he's just relentless in the Kaspa space. He gives out some really good content as well, so definitely do that. So Christian, moving on to you. I do have a list of questions here already pre-written by Levendi, and they are actually brilliant questions. So I did have a look at them before and thought I may add some more in, but to be honest with you, they're great questions. So I'll get into it. So if it looks like I'm reading off a script, it's because I 100% am reading off a script. So question one. When did you first enter the crypto industry, and what initially drew you to it?
Yeah, great question to start off. So I minored in management information systems. I majored in business marketing and administration. And one of my coding classes where we were learning Visual Basic, the professor was very pregnant and she had to go on maternity leave like after the second class. And there was no replacement to teach the class, so they brought in the school's IT guy. And he's kind of how you'd imagine him to be, right? Like a dungeon warrior, ripping the vape, hair greasy, kind of smells a little bit. But this dude was like, this dude was brilliant. And he kept mentioning Bitcoin. And this was like in 2013. So kind of got to understand what it was a little bit. But I was just a young broke college kid. So I never really paid much attention to it. However, during the 2017 bull run in October, I started catching wind of it again. And I remember I was on uh, kind of a leadership retreat with the old company that I owned and had some downtime. And I started researching Bitcoin and just kind of FOMOed into it in late October of 2017. And then quickly, went down the list of altcoins. And had some crazy pumps that I was lucky to be a part of, like the XRP pump, the Dragon Chain pump. Even wrote a coin called Ethereum Blue. It was kind of like trade Einsteinium. There are just all these worthless projects. It was kind of like trading Pokemon cards at the time. And then went into the bear market. I kind of round tripped all those bags just about, and then FOMOed back into the market in 2021 when Bitcoin was, had just broken all-time highs again, past 19,000, and never took a hiatus since then. So my business partner and I, Ray, we founded our mining company at the end of 2021. Like literally January 1st, 2022 is when I incorporated the LLC. And we bought a bunch of GPUs at the top of the GPU market. Um, Super expensive. So we had like $250,000 of GPUs. I had made some good money just from certain altcoins or meme coins in that cycle, and I kind of invested that into the GPUs. And literally a month after purchasing $250,000 of GPUs, and we're running these rigs in our own apartments. Like we each lived in an apartment, and we each had like 4 or 5 rigs. So we were like blasting the AC. Our wives were pissed at us, or girlfriend in his case, And yeah, we were just raw dogging it, right? Entrepreneurship, baby. And 1 month after all of that, Ethereum announces it's going to move to proof of stake. And I just posted a comment in this space. It's kind of a little thread of what I want to dive into in this conversation and how it ties back to how I got into Kaspa. And we'll talk about Kaspa versus Ethereum later and all of this coming full circle. But in any case, yes, it was kind of an oh shit moment. Um, and just like anyone should in times of trials and tribulations, you got to put your head down and figure it out. So I went heavy into researching after the merge. We were mining Flux and Raven Coin, but they were like not even profitable, and I just didn't see like a big future with them. Nothing to the scale of Ethereum. It was like, will anything ever replace Ethereum and have the same level of profitability? Was the big question. And honestly, at the time, it seemed pretty doubtful. Um, and then I actually found Caspa in my research, and we pointed all of our GPUs to Caspa in late quarter three of that year, 2022. And I personally bought a very sizable holdings at that time. And then we were some of the first people to buy FPGAs on Caspa. We put those in our own mining farm in Dallas, Texas. And then we were some of the first people to have a sizable ASIC farm as well. And we've had 4.5 petahash on Caspa for over a year now, which at one point I think was like at the peak of our network ownership, I think we were at 5% of the hash rate. But now it's like 0.001. Thanks, Marathon.
Yeah, that's insane though. That's an insane amount. I mean, I've got my KSO Ultra running in the background, so I'm doing my part too. Um, but that's actually really interesting. So it's literally a case of, because I think I've heard this from quite a few Ethereum miners, that they sort of were left with nothing to mine. That Ethereum decided to go
Yeah,
proof of
well,
stake.
this is in my post that I commented. They abandoned the proof of work miners, and obviously, from my perspective, and a lot of smart people, well, smarter people than myself, would agree with me that proof of work is superior to proof of stake. Because with proof of stake, it's much less secure and it's a lot easier to organize an attack. You only need 33% of staking power, and you can just purchase coins from other people and attack the network. Whereas with proof of work, in order to organize an attack, it has to be 51%. And it's hundreds of times more difficult to assemble mining power in an organized way to attack something versus purchasing enough stake in a network. So proof of work's far more secure. It's much more decentralized, especially when you start from a fair launch, which Ethereum didn't. And the only thing holding proof of work back historically has been speed, and that's been solved with Caspa. So yeah. Anyways, I digress. But basically, Caspa it's going to replace Ethereum, and we'll get into that here, and how and why it will. But anyways, what I was saying is they abandoned the miners. And a lot of these miners like myself, they also it's mining's not a singular strategy, right? A person who mines is also going to look at holding, purchasing spot and holding. And when Ethereum like abandoned their miners, a lot of those people just TWAP sold their Ethereum over a certain period of time. And you're left with, yes, it's greener for the earth. That's a whole debate, and I can have good arguments against that. But that's the primary reason Vitalik switched to proof of stake, but literally at the cost of the value of the network in terms of its security and decentralization. And I think that's why the price action on Ethereum since the merge has been flat, and altcoins haven't done as well as Bitcoin, because altcoins have historically they've looked to Ethereum as the signal for the altcoin market to move. But now Ethereum's tech is outdated. They have not been innovating. Their leadership is scattered and not organized, and they're not working diligently. And their network has a lot less value because it's switched over to proof of stake. But at the same time, almost funny how these things work. It's like, the phoenix dies and slowly dies, and then it rises again out of the ashes. Well, Kaspa is going to come full circle, kind of like coming into the world when Ethereum went to proof of stake and all the miners switching over to Kaspa. And then it's literally going to come full circle within the next 2 to 3 years, I think, where it will probably replace Ethereum in terms of total value locked.
I genuinely do believe that as well. And like you said, with what's coming online with Kaspa, it just makes perfect sense to use Kaspa instead of Ethereum. Like you've got all of these base rollups that are coming online, some being EVM compatible. You've got Kaspa actually working out a way to become MEV resistant, which is just huge. It just makes perfect sense for anybody, especially if you're in the DeFi sector, to move to Kaspa. Like why wouldn't you? Especially if you've got MEV resistance as well. It's literally a no-brainer. And like you said, Kaspa's much more secure, much more decentralized. When you're a business or even a high net worth individual, you really value those things, like really value them. You don't want to be moving value on something that can have outages or can go against you, or can sandwich attack your transactions, things like this. You want to do it. It will be more beneficial for you to be on a network that is completely secure, or as secure as Bitcoin, as decentralized as Bitcoin, can scale, low fees, and MEV resistant. It's
So
literally a no-brainer.
that's the cherry on top of everything. Kaspa's soon going to become what Ethereum should have become. They've failed to innovate at the pace that it takes, and they have um, failed in terms of switching their consensus protocol, which is a very risky thing to do. Um, and the only good thing they've done is created the virtual machine, right? Which other sequencers can use, i.e., Kaspa soon. But what's super unique about all this is Kaspa completely follows Bitcoin's ethos, which Ethereum has never done from the start. I mean, 60% of it was pre-mined. 60% of the coin was pre-mined. um, yeah, I mean, we all understand this. It's just we're super early, right? And the market will catch on. Seeing is believing for most people. And I think I think when people see 10 blocks per second on mainnet, that's going to be the punch that makes the boxer dizzy, right? To where we're going to get a lot of eyes on us in the crypto space. And then the final knockout blow is going to be smart contracts. Like once EVM's live, once, Caspacom, we launch some of the applications we're launching on EVM, big applications come over like Curve Finance, and all these apps start popping up, and people have the choice to bridge from Ethereum. If the fees are 1/10 of a penny, if the speed is instant finality, if it's more secure and decentralized than Ethereum, and if it has unique solutions for MEV and Oracle efficiency, there's not a single reason not to use Kaspa over Ethereum. And I'm not like I'm not obviously I'm a Kaspa bull, but these are just facts. This is the game theory.
And that's the point, though. Like we are Casper balls, but it's because we've actually looked at the facts and realised,
Exactly. That's
fuck,
exactly
this
right.
is going to be
I have
massive.
to I have to remind myself of that every single day. I'm like, why am I a lunatic over this imaginary internet money called Kaspa? And then I'm like, okay, these are the reasons.
It's so true, man. I do. I always say as well. You do have to check yourself before you wreck yourself, and like we've all got confirmation bias, everything like that. But every time I do these talks or just research into Casper more, you can't. You literally. You can't not be bullish on it, and it's not. You've got to try to step away from the tribal mentality of it all, um, because at the end of the day, this is tech, and when tech is very beneficial for the individual and for the business, it doesn't matter what anyone else says. They're going to use that because it's beneficial for the individual or it's beneficial for the business. And Casper is that. It will be beneficial for the businesses, for any DeFi project, even TradFi. It will be beneficial for.
Yes, all RWA is going to be onboarded to EVM, and that's what they're already doing. All of these RWA projects are EVM. They're coded in Solidity, and all the TVL is going on EVM on Ethereum. And all that needs to happen once Kaspa has EVM is they can quickly bridge over to Kaspa and operate more securely, more decentralized, much quicker with negligible fees. Like, why wouldn't anyone do that? It just comes down to natural selection, right? It's like, what's the best, whatever the most frictionless route a person can take with something, they'll naturally take that route. And when you have 10 blocks per second, DAG Knight, smart contract EVM Caspa, there's no further improvement to a crypto anymore. I mean, yeah, like, okay, tiny improvements, right? But there's no further improvement, and there's not going to be a single reason for anyone not to use Caspa, A, as a store of value, as a peer-to-peer currency, and as the leading smart contract sequencer for not only EVM but also Solana virtual machine.
And that really is the exciting thing as well, is the fact that Casper, because it's so quick and it just does incredible things via the block DAG, because of that, it can actually be the sequencer. It's a layer one. It becomes the sequencer. So again, fees aren't getting like when people hear layer twos, they always think, oh, it's going to be horrendous for the actual base layer. That's true on Ethereum because they haven't got the speed to be able to be the sequencer. They need a centralized sequencer for the layer twos. So layer twos are parasitic. They literally drain money away from the miners.
Hmm.
Casper's completely different. Being the layer one sequencer, the miners are actually getting paid as well as the layer twos. Like it's genius.
Well, it's because what's going to be adopted on Caspa is not truly a layer 2. It's a layer 1.5 because the gas fee will be Caspa. If it's that's to distinguish this discernment between a 1.5 and a 2 is if it's a 2, the gas fee is paid in the native coin or a token of the L2 itself. Now that doesn't mean, a project like a layer 1.5 like Igra, which technically will be a 1.5 because gas fees are paid in a wrapped version of Caspa, which benefits the miners of the L1 sequencer. But they can have their own coin, right? It's just not going to be tied to the gas fees that are used for functions. But that's what's super important, and I think Jonathan's actually pushed these projects. Sparkle's had that strategy from the beginning, but he's actually pushed for everything to kind of be sequenced down to the base layer and demanded that it's based off the L1 and it uses ZK proofs and that, Kaspa is the gas. And what are you going to say no to, Jonathan?
Yeah, no one says no to the big dog. But it is true, and again,
But no, you're exactly right. And we're not going to have the parasitic L2 activity of Ethereum where these, Ethereum's 220 billion of market cap when it could be 500 billion because another 200 billion is in L2 coins. Just like everything gets diluted. Not only the activity on different layer twos, but also the market cap that's assigned to the total network. Does that make sense? With Kaspa, it's going to be concentrated in Kaspa's gas, which is Kaspa, the Kaspa coin, versus Ethereum, it's spread out amongst different layer two coins.
Yeah, exactly. And in that case, the Ethereum case of layer two, they are literally the layer two themselves are getting paid, not the base layer. Well, not enough anyway. And this is why Kaspa has actually flipped it on its head. And like you quite rightly said, it's like a layer 1.5. It's not a layer two. And this will be again fantastic for Kaspa in general because obviously we've got a quick emission schedule. We are going to be relying on a fee market fairly soon in the future, and this will 100% help with that. The more the miners get paid, the more secure Kaspa's going to become and be. And like even just if you took like say stable coins for example, now stable coins on Kaspa again would be the ultimate thing. Like everyone uses Tron because Tron's quick and fairly cheap. So obviously everyone likes to move their stable coins via Tron. But it's extremely centralized, like extremely centralized. Why wouldn't you have all the benefits of Tron, but on Kaspa, that is again very secure, very decentralized, very quick, and very low fee. And you capture just Tron's market share of how many fees they get via stablecoins transactions. That's a huge amount, and that's just one sector. That's just stablecoins. Then, like you said, you go after all EVM DeFi projects and things like this that will then be coming onto Kaspa's network. I genuinely, I think I don't think people, or maybe they do, but I'm sure people don't realise just how massive Kaspa is going to be. It's going to be, and when Shai said it's the end game, it genuinely is the end game.
Yes.
Like it is.
Yeah, and the definition of end game is nothing further can happen or be improved upon.
And that's exactly it. Because I remember speaking to, I think it was Dennis actually from Igra Labs, and he was saying that people could technically use Kaspa as to use sorry, they could send transactions on Bitcoin but use Kaspa as the sort of layer two.
Yep.
And like again, yes, that can happen. That can 100% happen. But then we got to the point where we said, well, say Kaspa and Bitcoin are at the same hash rate, same security, same everything. Why wouldn't you just use Kaspa? You wouldn't even bother with Bitcoin because Kaspa is the end game. And again, it sounds like moon boyish stuff, and I do get excited, and I do have my biases, but the reason I'm so moonish and biasy and everything is because I've done such a big research into Kaspa that it is the end game, and it doesn't make sense it not being the end game, if you know what I mean. Adoption comes with time. That always happens. Some people are earlier than others, but like I said, when people start realizing, when individuals and businesses start realizing that they are going to directly benefit from being on Kaspa rather than any other chain, they're going to move, because that is business all over. If something's better, quicker, cheaper for you to use, you'll always go there.
That's correct.
Yeah,
So that's the first question.
Yeah. How many hours have we got, man? Because I've got like 15 or 16 questions here. But we'll just keep going through anyway. But brilliant first answer to that question. Thank you very much, Christian. So the second question is, how did you come across Kaspa? We've already actually covered that. What year or period do you consider early in your discovery of Kaspa, and how active was the project back then? So I remember you saying you sort of got into it. Was it the third quarter of
2022.
2022? Yeah. And how active was it back then when you first found it?
About as active as it is now, just because of the price action. I think things are very quiet right now. And things were pretty busy then because it was making a lot of new all-time highs. My personal dollar cost average was 0.005, and we started mining at 0.0028, and that was my first purchase. That was definitely early. Like that was early for sure. What I think was like unexcessively early was like the Wolfie days where people were allegedly trading over the counter in Discord, and people were mining on CPUs, and there wasn't, it was before Chad Valentine came along and made a good website and a really incredible brand. So that was like Adam and Eve early.
Yeah, that really is Adam and Eve early.
But early with Caspa stretches a long way just because of the altitude that it's capable of reaching. If that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I'm like the upside is pretty
Yeah.
much forever. So yeah, we are still like you said, the early days. We are technically still early, but just not as early as the early days. Lots of earlies in there. But I was going to say, what was the sentiment like? Not sentiment, but did people really understand Casper back in those early days, or was it more, let's jump on this because there's hype behind it, or we've got or miners were jumping on it because they needed something to mine?
Yeah, there's a little. I think the mining hype was really big, because you have people like Son of a Tech who mined it, and then they, when things were good, they sold and they don't mine it anymore. Those are hype chasers. They don't like. It doesn't apparently it doesn't like compute with him how revolutionary this tech actually is. So yeah, there's a lot of hype chasing back then. The fact that it was, you know, mooning for months on end in a bear market attracts a lot of the wrong people. A lot of tourists, just a lot of tourists in general back then.
Which
And this is around these bottoms. This is like when the landscape is cleared of tourists and you see who actually believes in the tech. Like that's who I see on my timeline now.
I was literally about to say that, like, these pullbacks are so good for doing these shakeouts, because like, again, it's none of my business. It doesn't matter if you're in it if you're literally in Casper because you want a quick buck. Cool. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. Everyone wants to make money, but genuinely, you do, when this happens, when the pullbacks happen, you, like you said, you have that big tree shake, and you're left with the people that genuinely understand what Casper is and the tech behind it.
Mhm.
And I think that's a good thing. I genuinely think that's a good thing, because don't get me wrong, the tourists are gonna come back again 100%, and that's fine. Again, it's
Mhm.
whatever anyone wants to do, but the more people we can just keep educating about, like, I don't know about you, but for me personally, when I started learning about Casper, uh, I I got really excited about it to the point that I just had to tell everyone, because it's like you found this incredible thing that not many people have found, and you really just, because you found it, you want to show it to everyone. And that's what I'm like. I'm constantly trying to tell people about Casper, but unfortunately, a lot of people do relate things to price. So
Yeah,
they go, all right, this is really cool, but price is tanking. So what are you talking about? And it's like, no, you've got to look at the bigger picture.
I think the key difference between 2022 and Kaspa 2025 is everyone understood how revolutionary the tech was back then, who was capable of doing their research correctly. But people now, they realize the real world ramifications that are about to unfold with the tech. It's like people are about to see the benefits of the tech for the world versus the tech just being there and all the groundwork being laid. It's like
Yeah,
the road is actually being paved now. That's the difference.
yeah, exactly. And then the people will use the road once it's paved, but the people that are early will obviously benefit. But um, and it is so true. It will happen. And like I said, like with finance, for example.
We have the land rights to the road. We collect the tolls,
Yeah,
the miners.
we're in the toll booths. But like I think like with Binance, for example, I think a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say that they reckon they're not going to list it until the Crescendo hard fork, and to me that does sort of make sense. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't. Is this one of the questions? I assume.
It's not. It was just I
All
just
right.
sort of threw this out there.
Yeah, I think that's bogus. They can list whenever they please, and updating their back end for the hard fork is like it's pretty effortless. So that's just kind of in people's heads. But they're stalling right now for two reasons, so that they can accumulate more at these prices since their dollar cost average is much higher, which is great because that means they're accumulating more than they've originally planned, which means they're going to be even more bought in and market the coin even harder. And then for their sake, as well as for our sake and what we want them to do, don't list it until there's a bullish reversal that people want to FOMO into. It's going to have a lot better of an impact on price action and marketing.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, that from a business point of view, that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? They're going to want the best bang for their buck,
Hmm.
and like you said, they'll if you're launching something like Kaspa, because they and one thing they do know for sure is that the Kaspa community is massive. Like they get so much engagement um, whenever people talk about Casper on Binance's X pages or Coin Market Cap, things like this. So they certainly know that there's a big community behind it. And like you said, from a business point of view, it sort of makes sense to do it at the right time, at like start of a sort of rally. So yeah, I can definitely see that for sure.
Next question.
Next question is, you've answered that one. Doctor working directly at Kaspa. Yeah. How did you transition from being an early adopter to working directly with the Kaspa community?
I'm just a part of the community. I don't know how I work with the community.
Well, you're definitely a big a big account on the community. Like a lot of Caspians look to you because of that big account. Also because of you do have a big mining rig for Kaspa, and you do a lot of educating on Kaspa as well. So did is that something that just sort of happened naturally? Again, is that because you
I
believe in
think I
Kaspa?
just bull post like everyone else, but I must do it better.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Okay, next question. Boop, boop, boop. Can you describe your first interaction with? No, we've already done that one. What challenges did you face in the crypto industry before finding Kaspa, and how did Kaspa address those for you?
Yeah, I think I want to have the understanding and appreciation for Caspa that I have now if I hadn't been in the industry as long or played on different playgrounds. So, going 2017, the first decentralized exchange was like Ether Delta, right? For those who are familiar with that, which is just an order book marketplace for ERC20 tokens before swapping came along with Uniswap. And then with Uniswap, I got to play around with DeFi, got to play around with lending protocols, decentralized perp exchanges, and then got to play around with different um, chains like BNB or Solana, etc., to figure out like what the benefits and drawbacks of each are. And then as being a miner, you understand the dichotomy between and against proof of stake versus proof of work. So you by playing in DeFi for such a long time, and then also having a mining background, you truly understand what it takes to create the ultimate smart contract platform.
Yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense as well. Like you said, I think you need to have gone through the trenches a little bit to understand just how unique Kaspa is. And maybe that's what a lot of people need to do in the broader communities or in the broader crypto community is
Yeah,
understand.
because are there going to be other EVM sequencer layer ones or L1s that, you know, are just as fast and cheap as Caspa? Maybe. Maybe Hyperliquid, maybe Solana after an upgrade could be, I mean, they're not even gonna be as fast and they can't be as cheap. Um, just because of the uniqueness of the proof of work fee economic model. But let's say if there is something that is just as fast and as cheap, okay, well, how are people going to decide between those and then Caspa? Well, the wise people are going to look into the protocol and then see how inherently underlying secure and decentralized it is. And that's if there's a tie in speed and fees, which I don't think will be possible.
Yeah, I totally agree. And again, it goes back to that thing of when you're moving like a few £100 around, it does, like security and things like that don't matter to you too much. When you're moving a lot of money
Uh,
around,
Is that because
that,
the British dollar is so cheap?
yeah. It has taken a hammering, but I do think we're making it back up to the top. I remember when it used to be like 2 for 1. You used to get $2
Yeah, I
for
know.
£1.
Yeah, no,
Good
it's
old days.
greatly improved. Yeah.
Yeah. It has for you
Maybe
guys.
that's an outdated joke. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I want my tea back. Um,
What's that?
um, what was it?
No,
I
we
can't
drink we
remember what it
drink
was.
coffee here. That's the joke.
Oh God, yeah. Actually, to be fair, I drink coffee as well.
Alright.
I mix it with tea sometimes, so I feel intercontinental. But no. Right. So next question, I did want to start moving on to your involvement with Kaspa.com, and how that came about. So, like, obviously, you're affiliated with Kaspa.com to some degree. I
Mhm.
don't actually know how much or what role you play in that. But I was just wondering if we could start talking about that because obviously some people will remember it as Caspiano and how they originally set up, and then you came along and it sort of transformed into Casper.com. So I was
Mhm.
just wondering how you went about that and got involved with Caspiano at the time.
Yeah, I had Sion, their founder and CEO, actually reached out to me on Twitter for an investment, and that was after I saw El Peror's post about Caspiano. That was the first web app marketplace, and he kind of had a little video on it, and it got a lot of engagement. So that's when I decided to reply to Sion, and we hopped on a meeting. And we actually closed an equity deal within 2 days. So I own a certain percentage of the company, and there's an investment schedule that I follow.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
And
so I'm kind of like an advisor, but I do put hours a day into the platform. So just driving as much value as I can. I did have the idea to rebrand it to Caspicom, and I knew the ownership group that owned the domain Caspa.com, and I went to the Caspiano team at the time, this all happened very quickly too, and said, "Hey, I think we have an opportunity to potentially do some sort of deal for the Kaspa.com domain. And I think we should rebrand as Kaspa.com, almost like Comic Con or um you think Kaspa and comics, which kind of it's a good title for like the playground where people play with, their different coins and memes and comics, right? And NFTs. So that's kind of the whole idea behind the rebrand, and that's how it all happened.
And it was it's obviously a clever rebrand as well. When people start, like I think a lot of businesses that are building on Casper at the moment, for example, are doing so with a long-term vision. And
Hmm.
for you guys, obviously, when Casper gets more and more and more adopted and more people are hearing about it, they're obviously going to look at Kaspa.com. And it's actually quite a similar thing to what Crypto.com did, and that just is massive for them. So yeah, I think it was a really really wise move there. Obviously, everybody probably wants to know how much or what deal you managed to do for the Kaspa.com domain. I'm guessing that we'll never ever know this,
No,
but it's worth a poke.
yeah, they're very serious NDAs in place, as I'm sure you can understand.
Yeah, no, I just thought I'd give it a
But
little poke.
it wasn't cheap. It's definitely a long-term investment. There's just a lot you can do with the domain, since in theory it'll drive in a lot of retail traffic. So one of the things we have coming very shortly is um swapping, like onboarding with fiat and with Bitcoin or USDT or USDC. You'll be able to swap into Kaspa on Kaspa.com, and also buy Kaspa with Apple Pay. So the idea is kind of like to be the UI for Caspa, if that makes sense. The first stop shop for all things Caspa. We'll have like a learn part there, where people can be educated on Caspa, and then you'll have all the other things we offer. And obviously, we're working to be ready for smart contracts when that happens as well.
That's a good point, actually. So, like, when smart contracts do come online, like, are you in talks with a lot of the people developing smart contracts on Casper to see about integrations and things like that?
Yeah, naturally. I think you just kind of have to um, be ready for anything and everything, because it's unclear who's going to be first or be adopted at this point.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like the base roll-ups or the layer 1.5s, there's quite a few that are sort of coming out at the moment as
Hmm.
well, and are building out. And again, I think it's really good in general for the whole ecosystem. Um, if and to be honest with you, it's good for everyone anyway. If you're holding Casper and you've got multiple layer 1.5s working, and it's the same with like Casper.com, Caspiar, but like all of you guys as well, it all benefits Casper in the long run. And if you're a Casper holder, then actually when one person rises up, everybody rises up. So I think competition. I've always been a big advocate for competition um, in a sort of free market scenario, and I think Casper has this. Casper actually allows a sort of free market scenario, and a true free market scenario. The people that hold CAS are using their vote to vote on who they want, and that's only
Hmm.
going to help not only Casper in general, but it's also going to help every single business that's built on it, because healthy competition's good and it makes you want to up your game constantly, so people get a better experience.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, like again with all of these these layer 1.5s that are are growing on Kaspa. I'm really excited for it because again, it's just going to help everyone.
Yeah, let
And
me
yeah,
let me touch on what it means for a second. Gonna get pretty complicated here. So obviously, we'll have a place for people to bridge KRC20 over to a certain, whether it's Solana virtual machine or whether it's EVM. People can bridge their NFT assets and bridge their KRC20, which is essentially like locking and minting onto the smart contract platform. Um, and then obviously like a swap protocol. But what I'm pushing Caspicom to do uniquely, and this might take a little bit, have like a hyperliquid like app on Caspa because Caspa's throughput and instant confirmation at 10 blocks per second will allow for centralized exchange like speeds on a decentralized platform. So I would like if we can develop this um, to basically have, a swap for KRC20 tokens, but also like a hyperliquid type app for KRC20 or any wrapped assets like Bitcoin or Ethereum or USDT, etc.
yeah, I mean that would be huge. That would 100% be huge. And it's awesome to see you guys are genuinely thinking of the future as well. You're constantly building out, and that's what we need. We need innovation, definitely. Would you guys go into sort of DeFi as well?
That is DeFi.
Oh yeah, of course it is. So the next question I do have for you, is how do you handle skepticism or criticism about Casper from other people in the crypto space? Because there's obviously a lot of FUD that goes round. Yeah, how do you deal with that?
Well, I used to like, reply and tell those people they're wrong, but now I think it's more fun to like play along with it.
What, just go along with what they're saying and go, oh yeah, you might be right about that.
No, and just see how ridiculous they can get with you. Just like yeah.
Oh, just keep reeling them
That's
in.
that's just what I do now. Like I'll troll with my replies to futters versus like, but trolling in a sense where they don't know I'm trolling, but you guys might know I am. That just keeps things lighter for me versus like trying to attack like reply sensibly to nonsensical people.
That is the thing with the crypto space in general, and again, it'll be exactly the same with Casper as well. People get so tribal about it that they sort of, I don't know. I've seen it a lot with Bitcoin maxis, and these aren't stupid people at all. Like they're very very intelligent people, but like they can never answer why they dislike Casper. But
No.
the only reason
Yeah.
the only reason they ever give is, oh yeah, no, I've heard
Yeah.
this all before. And it's like, well, that's not, like, you're an extremely smart person. That's not a very critical way of thinking of things. Like if someone does give what I'd
Well,
consider,
it's just an endowment bias is what it's called. They've been endowed with Bitcoin and they're up on it and they plan on holding it for a long time. They are smart enough to study the technology and understand it, just like Adam Back, but they're never going to embrace it or give it time and attention or even admit that it's superior in any sort of fashion because they don't want to potentially harm their endowment of what they own. It comes down more to protecting their property versus acknowledging, um, like with no bias, new technology that could potentially be a threat to their own asset that they're holding and counting on appreciating.
Yeah, and that does make sense.
I don't know, man. Like Bitcoin's just kind of getting a little cringeworthy to me lately, especially, dude, like the freaking crypto conference where Trump comes on and literally at the conference says there's gonna be a strategic reserve and it'll start with not selling government confiscated Bitcoin. Literally, that was the announcement all that time ago. And then all it's been is them repeating themselves. like like last week, they repeated themselves 3 times. I'm like, this was literally announced at the crypto conference, and you all are acting like the announcement event is happening over and over and over and over again. And of course, there's no price action because it was fucking announced 5 months ago.
It's a classic
Excuse my
Web3
language.
handbook, man. It's a classic
It's-
Web3 handbook, man. It's an announcement of the announcement of the announcement of the announcement.
It
And
would
it
have
never
been
ends.
better. It would be better if there weren't these. This is what was different in 2017 is people didn't use Twitter as much and people didn't know what was going on. They couldn't check the pulse of the market and see what everyone's opinions were. They were just firing blind and things were mooning and they would buy without ever researching or seeing what people were thinking about something. So I think the way people now communicate in crypto and how sensitive to news and economics and thought leaders and opinions on Twitter and cash tags, that's why the market cycle is happening slower versus more impulsive as it used to.
Yeah, I mean that really does make sense. But I mean, I like again, I'm in two minds. Like, what's your opinion on the Bitcoin reserve and things like this? Because I'm in two minds. I think yes, it's obviously good for adoption because when you've got entities that the normal people trust, for some reason that's government, they then start adopting it more themselves. But again, it sort of goes against the ethos of why we're in crypto anyway, because we don't want fucking government
Well,
touching.
because of Kaspa, Bitcoin becomes redundant. Like, yes, it's a store of value, but it's not the only store of value now because there's also a Nakamoto like proof of work in Caspa. But Caspa is just going to be so much more, right? I think they just had the first movers advantage, and I think it's always going to be the king of collateral and capital, and I think it might always be number one in terms of crypto cap. But that's what it is a store of value. And it's kind of sad because it's lost its whole ethos of cyberpunks and fuck the banks and fuck the governments and we don't want any large individual accumulating more than 1-2% of the supply, but that's all changed and that's what's kind of sad is now it's like Sailor beats the drum for all the Bitcoiners and it's not this like movement or collective anymore.
Yeah, I mean that's why I got into Bitcoin back in like
And then now it's
2017.
all like news based, right? It's like, oh, when's the next strategic reserve going to be announced? And got Cynthia Loomis over here, like teasing something every single day. It's like what the heck is this, right? It's like it's just weird. It's not. It doesn't feel the same.
No,
And I
it
don't.
definitely
I'm
doesn't feel
just.
the same.
I mean, I'm a part of something special, so I'm not like frustrated by it, but it's just what I've noticed.
Well, I'm sort of like that because it's like okay, yes, governments and banks and everything. You take Bitcoin because it's only going to help the whole crypto market anyway. So you take Bitcoin, I'll take Casper. This is my new thing that I can actually transact with people without having your fucking clause in it at the moment. Um,
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. It's one of those weird things. But what's insane is half of these people that are um, like doing Bitcoin strategical reserves and blah blah blah. They don't even know what the fuck it is. They don't know how to use it or where to store it or what it does. It's just yeah, it's insane. But again, I I do like it because it's good for adoption, but I don't like it because I am like a deep down cypherpunk. So
I
um,
honestly think it was just something that was like pressured on Donald Trump for votes, and he was smart enough to say like, okay, well, we're just not going to sell the confiscated via FBI Bitcoin that we haven't sold anyways. Like literally, this doesn't matter until the United States decides through Congress to purchase Bitcoin. Nothing has changed. And it's just been this like strategic reserve, yeah. But nothing's changed. It's a psyop. Literally a psyop. The coins confiscated by the FBI has still not been sold like they ever have.
Like literally nothing's changed. Like that is
Yeah,
the
but
case.
then you know you have something like Caspa, which is changing all the time and innovating. It's like there doesn't need to be narratives around Caspa. There with Bitcoin there needs to be narratives and pushing because the tech isn't improving on itself and having new use cases and affecting more people throughout the world.
And that's the point, right? Because what we were saying earlier, individuals and businesses will do things that will benefit them like personally.
Yes, exactly.
And so that using Bitcoin doesn't benefit a business really at all.
No, so that's why you don't hear the cypherpunk chants about Bitcoin anymore, or it's gonna change the way people transact or etc. It's just now it's like you just have people like Sailor, like just never sell, pushing new narrative. You just you just pushing something because it's not gonna be adopted, basically.
Yeah, exactly that, this is, yeah, again, we could just go on about how incredible Casper is forever, but it genuinely is. I yeah, I don't know how to put it across to people. That's actually a good question. What, like, how do you explain Casper to people that haven't heard of Casper before?
Yeah, I just try to dumb it down as possibly as I can, and essentially I say it's all the best things of Ethereum and Bitcoin combined on steroids.
Yeah, on steroids is the main
Because
part
that
there.
that's the only thing people will understand. Like if you start talking about the block dag and the trilemma, they quickly just don't understand you. So you gotta be like Ethereum coin plus Bitcoin, make baby, super coin.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's
Then they're
probably
like,
the
all
best
right,
way to explain
I'll
it.
buy it. Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, just some crazy baby created by Ethereum and Bitcoin going at it. Um, absolutely.
That's not wrong though.
No, it's
It's not
not. This
wrong.
is the thing. It's actually a
Because
perfect way to explain it.
Caspa is Satoshi's child, and Caspa is part of what Ethereum's consensus was ran on.
Yes,
So
that's exactly it.
no lies were told.
No, no, not at all. And that's the other thing with Bitcoiners. Like when you say like literally read your own white paper. Well, here's Casper. Tell me where we're wrong. And it's I can't. Yeah, it's
All
just
right.
it's just insane.
We got two more questions. And I gotta go eat dinner.
Yeah, no worries. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll give
Oh,
you
you
one
got
more
one more?
question,
All right. Okay.
and then I'll take some questions from the audience because I can see a few people got their hands up. If that's all right. So yeah, the last question I did want to ask you was like, how do you balance your work life with Casper, your mining, your crypto.com, crypto.com, Casper.com?
hmm
How do you balance all that up, or are you just constantly working?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the thing I'm always trying to figure out, I think. Um, Balancing family, health and well-being with, your professional intellectual pursuits. That's my trilemma. That's my personal trilemma that I'm trying to solve at all times. Um, Happily, like luckily, I worked very hard early in my career, and I exited a business for a lot of money. So I don't need to worry about money and showing up for a 9 to 5 job anymore. So I do have the flexibility, which makes it all possible. Um, but I'm always trying to show up more for myself and my family and not get too lost in the sauce, you know? because it's easy to get lost in the sauce.
Yeah,
Little sauce is good, but that same man can get lost in the sauce. That's what Gucci Man says.
yeah, and it's
So
true.
you gotta like, for me, like, this stuff is addictive. Like, Kaspa is addictive. Working on these startups around it is addictive. Um, but 80% effort can go a long way. Sometimes the extra 20% effort can kill you in your relationships. So that's important to note.
Awesome, man. Thank you. And if you ever do solve that trilemma, let me know, because that would be really good help. It might save my relationship as well, because it's on the edge all the time when I talk about Kaspa.
Yep.
So we're going to take some questions quickly. It was Golden Sparrow was first. You got your hand up for a long time. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. Cheers, everyone. No, just Christian, if I may ask you a question directly, because you mentioned curve finance and sort of protocols on DeFi. And I think, yeah, we've been discussing 10 BPS, smart contract functionalities coming, base rollups, and how this idea of having an ultimate sequencer with a robust proof of work protocol will benefit like DeFi applications that are not very easy in terms of connectivity fees within, let's say, the Ethereum ecosystem. So you mentioned Curve, and Curve is renowned to be one of those protocols that they have this built somehow atomic impossibility, because they give possibilities to, you have lending pools with stables that you could take LP tokens and then create vaults to get some yield, and that's most of the new DeFi structures that now are being built. So how you think having like Kaspa, instant confirmation, super lower fees, and atomic composability will benefit this sort of ecosystem. And again, DeFi is tiny if you compare all the RWAs and everything that actually will be built eventually. But anyways, I would like to pick your brain on this matter. Maybe you have something to comment. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we're on the precipice of real world adoption. And that's starting to form on Ethereum. And with EVM, all these major applications like Uniswap or Curve or DYDX or Compound, literally all they need to do is port over to Kaspa's EVM, and that can be accomplished within one day. I've actually talked to some of the admins within some of these applications, and that's literally all it takes. I don't think all of them are going to do it right when Kaspa has smart contracts. I think groups within Kaspa like KSBR or Kaspa.com, KNS, they're going to develop their own smart contract applications, and we're going to encourage the community to adopt those, right? Because you're supporting local business per se, right? Versus using, one of the big guys that just poured over to Kaspa. But yeah, I think Kaspa EVM smart contract or Solana virtual machine, it's coming at or native Sparkle smart contracts. It's coming at the perfect time where the real world is looking for crypto solutions, and Kaspa's the ultimate L1 sequencer for that to do through EVM.
Awesome. Thanks for the question. And we got STP. He's got his hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, do I sound clear?
Yes,
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah, hi Christian. My name is STP.Cas. It's a joke.
Nice to meet you.
Sorry to take your time. I have two questions, but first, one thing about Kaspa.com and KNS. I'm a good customer of Kaspa.com since I love to mint NFTs, unfortunately, and I also
That's
minted.
addicting, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And also, I minted like 150 KNS domains on testnet 10 to support this project. So really good job. And then one thing about Kaspa.com again before I go to my real question. Great website, works so well. Congrats on that. Just one question. What is it about the yellow stars?
The yellow stars.
Yeah, if you go to Kaspa.com, then you have yellow stars. Like if you mint or you buy something, these stars go right at the top, near your balance, your Kaspa balance. There is.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I was like, what, I want the drugs you're having, man.
What?
No, I'm
Yeah.
joking. I'm
No,
joking. I didn't know what you're talking about. Now I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
You're talking about the points. So like you earn
Yeah,
points for
no, no,
all
that,
your transactions that you
yeah,
do, and then
just
in the future, whenever we launch a KRC20 or a token, you're going to get your respective airdrop portion from those points.
okay. Okay, well, just wanted to know. So my questions and opinion for you to know. If I say stupid or wrong stuff, feel free to insult me. I can take it. But my question seems to be a bit similar to Golden Sparrow's intervention. But my opinion and question as a miner myself, I don't talk in beta hashes like you do, unfortunately. But I started mining mid 2024 and run a node on my PC
Mhm.
24/7, 24/7, mainnet tested 11 and now tested 10. So 10 blocks per second has been proven twice to work. That's great. But my questions and your opinion about Kaspa's aggressive block reward reduction and only 10% to mine left.
Mhm.
For me, in my opinion, the price of Kaspa will cover the miners in the coming years to follow.
Mhm.
Although I do not like to speculate, but I think this will be the case. So miners will become more and more dependent on the fee market. So Kaspa will have to switch over to an adoption-based and a decent fee market to
Mhm.
intensify more people to start mining and people to keep mining and running nodes. So this is going to be the responsibility of third parties building on Kaspa. My question to you is, what advice do you have to these three third parties like KYY or Kaspa or other entities wanting to build and create real adoption? As Shai mentioned before, as Shai mentioned a few times before, KRC20 is an adoption. So what would be your advice for starting now already? Wait for the smart contracts, and what steps can people or third parties take upfront?
Yeah, those are excellent questions and very well worded. I think the adoption is already happening on Solana and Ethereum.
Hmm.
It's just that those L1s are not the ultimate L1s needed for mass real world scalable adoption.
No, because they
So
are centralized.
yeah, and they go down and
Indeed.
they don't work sometimes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But essentially all the beautiful thing about what's going to happen with smart contracts is most Solana VM applications can be ported over, most EVM applications can be ported over. So adoption is really not a concern in my mind because naturally people will just want to use Caspa as the sequencer for whatever EVM application they're running because it's going to save them money. It's more secure. It's decentralized. It's not going to have failed transactions. The network's not going to go down. It's going to happen faster than anything else. So the game theory is all laid out, and it's coming prematurely to any type of place we can get where Caspa's emission schedule starts to become a concern if it's not being replaced by real world fees. That in my mind, it doesn't really start to become a concern until like 2030.
Yeah, indeed.
So we're plenty early. Well, I gotta go, guys. I gotta work on the other aspects of my trilemma.
Yeah, okay. But can I have one more question? Just a quick
All
question.
right, quick one.
Sorry. I also, so with the upcoming average block rate production of 10 per second on the mainnet and the further scaling in the future, would it be interesting to create a node made for Kaspa, being as cheap and energy as efficient as possible? A node that can withstand time and work for years to come. One node, one guide, one tutorial. I personally like the things to be streamlined and easy for people to use and adopt. Um, is it something that would help? Because okay, yeah, we're going to 10 blocks per second. Maybe then when needed, Kaspa can scale further. But if everybody is using different kind of nodes, it's getting complicated. Do you think it might be interesting to develop a node so everybody can easily because we're gonna need the nodes.
Yeah, that's I've actually tweeted about this over a year ago. If anyone remembers me tweeting about the room in Caspa's market for someone to develop um kind of an easy access solo mining node and miner setup for the end user, to where, maybe the end user gets like a KS0, and they also get sent a certain type of
Mm-hmm.
basic computer, little bit nicer than a Raspberry Pi, that you can operate a
Mm-hmm.
Caspa node on, and it's like pre-programmed to run, to where all the end user needs to do is plug in the miner, plug in the computer, route it to their Wi-Fi, and then boom, they're mining on their very own node. And this is a business opportunity, and I'm looking for ways to pursue it, because it people want to run their own nodes, and there's just a higher barrier of entry right now in terms of technical expertise that's needed to be able to do that. And it will infinitely increase Caspa's Nakamoto coefficient and how decentralized it is as well, if the barrier to entry for solo mining and running your own node is lowered, and it becomes as easy as like checking out on this website, and then
Mm-hmm.
you get sent your KS0 and your hardware, and you just plug it in and run your node, and you have a dashboard on said website. It's a massive business opportunity, and
Okay, let's do it.
something I'm
Let's do
looking
it
into.
together. I will contact
All
you
right,
tomorrow.
all right, sounds good, man. Thank you guys for having
Bye
me.
bye.
All right.
Awesome. Cheers for that, Christian. Really appreciate your time, man. And we'll catch you again on another episode, no doubt.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
No, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. See you
Nice
later.
one, man. Cheers for coming. That was awesome.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Take care, mate. That was awesome, Chris. That was amazing stuff, man. I'm gonna listen back and make a post tomorrow. Some great quotes in there, some great stories. It was brilliant getting to know Christian.
That's if it actually records this time.
Hey, stop it with man like Crypto Pumps in the back end being the Superman of Ireland. Oh man, he's there holding it up for us. Even if that was to go down, we can say a little fuck you to Elon.
Yeah, yeah, he is a G, that's for sure. Apologies for everybody, because I know that Crypto Pumps had a lot of questions for Christian, but we just ran out of time. So apologies for that. If we get him on future episodes, then we'll obviously get him to answer those questions as well. Simon, how are you doing, bro? I see you come up here. It's good to see you again. How's everything?
Hey Chris, what's up? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, man. How's everything going? You good?
Everything good. Everything good. I mean, the market is bleeding less like fuck for like what, a month now. But besides that, everything everything good. Like
Yeah.
I don't
Apart
know,
from
like
absolute bloodshed, everything's
yeah,
cool. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I'm human after all. Like there is only so much I can take, and at some point, we can try to stay positive and everything, but like it's been quite a long time, so holding up, but it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It play. I mean, like I said, everyone's human. It plays on everyone's emotions, but the pendulum does always swing. So, as bad as it is now, it will swing to good times again in the future. I've got no doubt about that.
Yeah, it will. It will.
Awesome, man. So,
it's just like when.
yeah. Please do it now. I'd much rather be on the other side of that pendulum. That'd be fantastic. But how have you been doing anyway? Have you been out touching grass and things like that?
Actually, not really. We've been working on a lot of stuff. The wallet is finally ready. I mean, it's live for a few weeks now. We've been testing it intensively and everything. I think like several members of the community already found the link in the crop store and everything. So it's been live. It's been running smoothly for everything, like for KSC 20, 721. So I'm just gonna tweet about it tonight. So it's kind of official. But like we finally finished the wallet, finished all the testing and everything. So yeah, super excited about it. And no, just waiting for people to come back to CAS and KRC, because right now it's like a fucking desert, right? So let's see. And still in touch, like on daily basis with Sparkle team, like to see how everything's going. And we're building, right? Because it's not like there anything else to do right now. It's kind of tough. So yeah, focused on building.
Awesome, man. I'm actually one of those people that found your wallet extremely early. And it works awesome. I use it quite a lot. I've got all my NFTs stored on there actually. And no, it's badass. I actually got it. I got in there before you actually, I think, even put it out to anyone. I think it was Ashton actually said, I think KSPR bots got their wallet on the store, so I straight away got on it, went on there. And obviously you were testing it out. I could see that some, like, you was obviously testing out the UI and everything on it. But no, it's fucking brilliant. I really like it.
You guys are fast, because I think it was like almost a month ago, I think. It's just like we made like so many updates. We made so many updates. We didn't want to really talk about it before it was like completely tested in real conditions and everything. So even though it's been ready for a while, we still push like a lot of updates, and I think that the final version, I mean the version that we have now is really really efficient and everything. So yeah, we're really happy about that, because it's been a very, very time consuming job. So it's great. Like like I said, I feel like now, like, the ecosystem, the community has all the tools needed. It's just like we just can't wait to see some activity coming back. Hopefully the market and everything will turn soon. That'll be great.
I've got a feeling it will, to be honest with you. But I mean, again, the wallet is a fantastic job. The UI on it's brilliant. I actually sometimes like just clicking it open, because I get the little ghost winking at me every now and then. So it's a very good feature. But no, I think it's awesome. I do. I think it's brilliant, and it's. I'm glad to see that you've you're getting it out into the public now. That's fantastic. And like you said, I mean, KSPR bot have done a lot for the Kaspa ecosystem anyway, and it's like you said, you're building out the tools ready for people. And yes, like, anyone with eyes can see that the KRC20 ecosystem at the moment is bleeding hard. Same with the NFTs, they're bleeding hard. But it is unfortunate. It's part and parcel. It's not just Kaspa's ecosystem. Solana's bleeding hard with all their memes. Ethereum's bleeding hard with all their memes. It's part and parcel of market cycles, unfortunately. And I think, to be honest with you, this one caught a lot of people out. Because everyone was expecting, like, obviously with the Trump news and blah 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 blah, that we're in for this super cycle. And just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't happen, and I genuinely do. I genuinely believe, and it's just because of like I'm obviously a half glass half full kind of guy, so I'm quite optimistic all the time. But the reason I am optimistic about this particular part of the market is because there's so many catalysts that are just waiting to explode. If you look at the Dixie, for example, now there's always a lag with everything. People seem to think that as soon as like M2 goes up and Dixie goes down, things should happen immediately, but they don't. There's always a lag, and if you have a look over the past few months, the Dixie has just been absolutely rallying. It's like the dollar's been getting stronger, which is why I think we're feeling it now, because there's a lag. But if you have a look at the Dixie now, it's absolutely plummeted. So I think that lag will catch up, and then markets will start to rise. You've got M2 has been pumping like a motherfucker as well. That's been going up. So there's liquidity getting seriously added across the board, especially with the US. We've always got to look at the US dollar, obviously, and like we do have big catalysts like Choke Point 2.0 is literally being written out of existence now, thanks to the Trump administration signing their orders, executive orders. These are all catalysts that people are getting confused because there's so much what seems to be bullish news coming out, but the markets are bleeding. And I think it's just because of that lag. And so, yeah, I personally think a lot of people are going to be shocked by how quick this reversal may be. But I don't have a crystal ball, and I may be talking absolute bollocks. Hopefully I'm not, though.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think that there might be something else too. It's like, regarding our ecosystem. I mean, I'm talking about KRC, right? More than Kaspa ecosystem in its whole. But like, I feel like maybe we've come to an end with the meme coin super cycle, and maybe this is gonna play a big role in in the rest of the bull run, if there is any, and and this is gonna obviously affect like RC20 a lot, because it was all based on this meme coin super cycle basically. So let's see, like you said, nobody has a crystal ball. Let's see how it goes, how it develops. It's gonna be very interesting to see for sure. Yeah, we'll see.
I'm ever the optimist, Simon, you know that. But so yeah, with regards to the Sparkle team, how are they getting on? Because I know the thing with people need to understand about Sparkle is they're literally building. You guys are building from like the bottom up, whereas like say for example, Igra Labs, they're building on top of stuff that's they can already build on. So like being EVM compatible, for example. But they even explained to us that what Aspects and Sparkle are doing is they're actually having to build from the foundation up. So it may take a little bit longer, but is there any sort of progress updates with that at all?
That's not really my place to say, actually. So I rather stay away from this conversation. And when Aspect is going to be ready to communicate about Sparkle, obviously we're going to relay it and everything. And even though we are actively, like the KSPR team, we are actively taking part in the decision. I mean, the direction and everything. It's not our project, right? So we're only like the sponsors. So I know my place, right? So I don't want to talk instead of Aspect about Sparkle. That wouldn't be right.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough, man. Totally understand that. Yeah, like that's totally fair. It'd be awesome to get Aspects back on here when they when they've got some updates that they want to talk about. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, the thing is, they're really like working really hard, because like you said, the issue is like, since they're building from the ground up, it's really a lot of work, and so we're still aligned with the deadlines that were fixed, so summer, but it's and having like a prototype probably in like 2 months from now. But it's like it's really difficult for the team to keep up, and that's why I've seen like a few people being like, yeah, Aspect is like really silent about Sparkle and everything. It's just like there is just so much to be done. That's why it's rather discreet right now.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd much rather him just keep his head down, arse up, and get working than having to answer everyone's questions. It's one of those things, like you said. There's so much to be done. Just let the people that are doing it cook, and good things will come. Good things come to those who wait.
Yep.
And how
Yep.
about you personally? Anyway, have you been playing a lot of Magic: The Gathering?
Yeah, I mean, you know me, right? So yeah. I mean, I've been playing quite a bit. But no, honestly, like even if I mean that to be fair, like we are still like building like a lot. It's just like we are never really been the kind of team to communicate a lot about what we are doing and stuff. Like every time we build and we just announce the product like like a few weeks before they're ready, and we go like that. So even though we didn't communicate like a lot recently, like I said, we finished the wallet, and we are still developing like new products. So no, I mean, I've been rather busy, like at least for the past 2 weeks. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't play as much as I would have loved to Magic recently, but that's fine. That's all right.
That's a
What
very
about you? Did you finally
bro. That's a very
got to it or
long. That's a
something?
very long way of saying that you've been losing at the game.
Yeah, I did pretty good actually on the last set that was released. Let's no, I'm more like waiting for the next one. It's gonna come up in early April, I think, something like that. So just waiting for it. But the last
I,
one was a lot of fun though.
I still don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I think it's because I may have got Pokemon cards instead, so I may have to.
Yeah, but have you tried though? Have you at least tried?
I'll be completely honest with you. No, I've been
Ah,
so busy, man. Like
yeah, I
I've
got you.
genuinely been busy.
No, I got you.
I will. I promise you. One day I will learn this fucking game. But I know the thing is, I know what I'm like, and I genuinely think I've got like undiagnosed ADHD or something, because my mind's just constantly racing, and I know what happens when I get my teeth into something. I just relentlessly go after it. So, and the
Yeah,
fact that everybody's telling me this is cardboard crack, not a good
yeah,
idea. You won't see me. I'll be, to be fair, I'm unshaven now, but I'll probably be in like a box somewhere just playing this game by myself. So I don't know. I don't think good things will come of me learning how to play Magic: The Gathering.
yeah. No, that makes sense.
STP, you've got your hand up.
Yes, for one little question for Kasper, but concerning the QRC20 decline, it will recover, but there is one thing we have to acknowledge. At the moment, in my opinion, the liquidity circulating in the QRC20 market is mostly coming from the Kaspa community. Um, the Kaspa listings will come eventually, and only then we will attract the liquidity from the broader crypto space. So I believe QRC20 will recover, but only after Kaspa is listed on the major exchanges. And I don't like to speculate, as you know, but I expect it to happen after the hard fork and or after smart contracts implemented. So this year, Kaspa will get the listings. But do you agree that what I said in the beginning, that the most of the liquidity circulating in the KRC 20 market is mostly from the Kaspa community?
Yeah, I mean that's tough to say, but yeah, I mean we did on board like I'd say a good amount of people, you know, with the launch, I mean the relaunch of KRC20 last year. The thing is, I think we on board. Unfortunately, like I said, you know, KRC20 was all about meme coins, right? And you know, I feel like unfortunately, maybe I'm wrong, right? I feel like unfortunately we onboarded mostly, you know, degens, right? And which is great because it was like literally what we were looking for, and that was where the liquidity was. You know, but the thing is, you know, degens and gamblers and stuff, which I am, right? Don't get me wrong. The liquidity rotates very fast, and and you know it was expected, right? But we you know, it's just like the liquidity came and then you know it went away. um so yeah, I don't know if it's an answer to a question, but like I really feel like we've onboarded like a lot of people from outside Casp. They just went away after a few weeks or months.
Yeah, that's also I think the smart people of the crypto space saw the opportunity to quickly get win some money with the KRC20 tokens. Um, but I repeat myself, if Kaspa gets the listings that will come this year, I'm sure of it, KRC20 will recover and even more than before. That's sure. I not all the tokens, of course, but I'm talking about Nacho with utility, the utility coins, and so the good tokens launched on the KRC20 network. Yeah, that I'm sure of. Okay, thank you for your answer.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm on that same sort of sentiment, to be honest with you. I think like meme coins always get hit when things like the worst, when things go down in general. I think I do. I think things are going to recover quite nicely, not just for Kaspa, but for KRC20, KRC721s. I think there's going to be new breath of life in them, and I think the people that are still building in that space and are building out sort of utility driven things as well. I don't know. I think you're going to get the degens and the gamblers. That's 100% going to happen. And like you said, Simon, that's where a lot of the liquidity initially comes from. But I don't know. I think we'll see. I've got high hopes for it, to be honest with you. I think this is just a storm that you have to ride out, and the ones that do ride it out and actually keep building are the ones that are going to benefit personally. But we'll see. I think I do think good things are coming though. But
Yeah, we don't have to forget that Wolfie will lead the way, so we're good.
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, we've got some fantastic we do have some fantastic projects in the ecosystem that are literally looking to generate real revenue, and Wolf being one of them is generating real revenue at the moment. And all of that sort of thing helps. It helps for adoption. It helps for. I think when we get smart contracts, I think that will be the real catalyst for KRC20s. Personally, I think when we get like proper DeFi things like that, that will be a massive catalyst. I can't, like I said, like when I was talking to Christian, once it gets to a point where businesses and things like this are actually benefiting, can see the benefits, and it's more beneficial for them to be on Kaspa, they're going to move over. Like it's just a no-brainer. It's what you would do in business, and I think that is going to relate, or is going to really help the KRC20 and the KRC721 space as well, because there's going to be a lot more liquidity sloshing around. But that's me being the optimist. I'm a great person to be around when things are going bad, because I do always try to look on the bright side of life. Because you got to, otherwise you'll cry.
That's a great song as well, by the way.
That is what on Life of Brian. That was my fucking
Mate,
brilliant. That is a
showing
brilliant
age
one.
now, man. But hey, fucking great song, great song. You know what? I was gonna jump in and say, something that doesn't rely on market conditions yet are crumbs. Go and claim your crumbs. I've forgotten again. It's like the second day in a row to claim fucking crumbs, and I've forgotten. I need to, and it keeps getting later and later. Bro, I swear to God, I keep doing this to myself. I keep falling into this trap. I forget, then I do it later, and then I forget, I do it later and later, and it just gets to a point where I just skip days.
Well, you're losing out, loser.
Yeah, fucking hell. Exactly.
It's your own company,
Oh,
and you're
Jesus.
fucking losing out on free
Jesus
crumbs.
Christ, everyone's taking all the crumbs.
Oh dear, that's a very good point though, and very well shielded. Well done, we got that in there. I want to move over to Ashton because I know you had to drop out, but it's good to see you back again. Have you got any updates for Nacho at all?
I thought me leaving in the middle of the space meant that I was free. I didn't realize this was coming back to me. I just had a work call I had to get to. No, honestly, it's we had a positive vibe session yesterday, and it went really well in the Discord. And we finally found out how to stream those to X and Telegram as well. So finally, after all these months, we can include the entire community. But it went well, and we talked a lot about our kind of low and slow approach in this this red market and what's going on. So, in terms of listings, we are ready to go with a big one that is essentially as soon as we decide the time is right. But we spoke with the community, thought about the market sentiment and everything, and it's just not the right time now. So we're using our red time quite responsibly to continue building. So Catpool's got some updates coming. Our rebrand and rebuilding of CatScan is almost done, but there's nothing really to update today. It's there's better spaces coming, not better X spaces, but better times to announce it in the coming days here. So we'll have some of those out probably late this week, early next. The only real change that we did have was the NFT utility values. We're slowly revealing those, and number 2 came out today. So that gives certain holders of certain rare Nacho Cats NFTs a free event, or a free ticket to a big Kaspa event that's coming this summer. This was one of the things that we've been talking about and planning for a little while, but our time in Bucharest with the KEF team and a few other kind of Kaspa ecosystem participants helped accelerate that idea. So cool things coming, but I can't say I've got a bunch prepared for you right now.
Well, I mean, that was a good rundown, to be honest. To be honest with you.
Just put me on the spot. I'll just keep talking until the alpha has been given away for free. Levendi knows this.
Yeah, just keep Ashton talking.
So does Pam. Pam Web3
everything.
Poker Club.
Yeah.
Pam is an absolute beast when it comes to alpha. She'll extract every little ounce of alpha you got on you, like right there and there. But if you're on her stage.
Oh yeah, and you fend off one or two, the attacks, and you're like, all right, I made it, I'm good. And then out of nowhere, 5 minutes later, you get another one. It's like,
Well, she does it to me all the bloody time, and I'm there hosting it with her. It's nuts. She's figured it out. She's cracked the code.
Chief Alpha Extractor. That is a brilliant role for her.
There you go. Actually, I have one call out actually for the whole cast community. I've been trying to play with, and I'm going to butcher this name, Canexium. I don't know how to say it, but it's this other token that others, or other chain, I guess, that other pools and miners have been playing with, because you can kind of like merge mine on cast. So if anyone's got any insight to this, I reached out directly to their team on the cat pool side of things, especially with cast price down and mining rewards, lower than they ever have been before. It's important to extract as much value as you can from that electricity use. So we're trying to get that set up as well, and could definitely use some help.
Awesome. I didn't really understand much of what you just said there, but it
You
does.
and me both, brother.
But,
you and me both.
But it does sound important. So anyone out there that does understand what Ashton's just said, get in touch with him. That's the best I can do for you, man. Sorry.
Question was terrible in and of itself, but yeah, there's some other token that they seem to have, I don't know, changed their consensus model or abandoned it entirely for CAS. But long story short is, you can, with a simple address augmentation in your Kaspa mining, you can get paid the same Kas that you're getting and this other layer 1 or other coin out there that I should know more about before talking about it.
Aston, I'll DM you in a second. So,
baller, there you are.
I got you.
I
Cheers.
knew if I asked, someone would pop up. Thanks, man. Kodera Stuff's hitting me up too with Aglavale, so appreciate you guys.
I'm going to take some credit there because it was obviously my breakdown of what you just said that got Coda of Stuff and Kaspa Funding to come up and speak to you. So you're welcome, Ashton, yet again.
Honestly, I have no idea what I'd do without you, Chris. So
yeah. Oh, God. Kaspa Funding, how are you doing? You sound a lot better than the last time I spoke to you.
I'm a lot better health-wise. Everything else-wise, oh, my dear Jesus, woosah. That's about it. Woosah. It's been, let's just say it's been a month. And I'm sure many others are feeling it, but there's only so much things you can do. And like it was said earlier, like, I believe it was KSPR about this, said, like, there's so much you can be positive, but there's so many at a point it's like, all right, come on now. It's you can only deal with so many things at a time. It's what did they say, shit on top of shit.
I mean, I always got taught, maybe this is why I am always optimistic, because I always got taught that you're always in shit, it's just the depth that changes. So yeah, I mean, you'll always climb out eventually. But yeah, I mean, if anyone wants a bit of my hopium spirit and blood, maybe not my blood, that's going a bit too far. But just yeah, just hit me up. I can stay as positive as you want. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm teasing a little bit. It's been a trying month with with all like the weird like hacks and all the other compounding things. But you know, as a community, we just continue to do what we can and build and move past the things that we can and rectify. And it's just it's it's like you can try to do everything correct, and then some asshole just comes and fucks it up, and it's just a terrible thing, And part of my French, but like it's it's the one reason why I can't stand certain parts of crypto. Like there's so many bad people that when you're trying to do good things, and no matter what, someone messes up something. But that's just my 2 cents. But cheers. I'm feeling healthy. Got to talk to a few people this week about some stuff. Got to talk to Ashton a little bit, and just it's good that we're all doing what we're trying to do and continue forward and trying to do right for our communities and Kaspa as a whole. But we keep our head up, we keep working, we keep grinding.
That's it, bro. Just keep going, keep pushing. Because you can't really do anything else. Just keep building. That's what you got to do. What I did want to say, Ashton, talking to you, because I haven't actually had a chance to catch up with you yet properly, so it'd be quite cool to do it here. How was Romania? Was it just like absolutely insane?
All vampires everywhere. That's all that we saw. Or that's what everyone wanted me to believe before I left, actually. But no, they're great people. It was a lot of fun. The conference was well done. It was at a very nice hotel. Kaspa won an award, which from that award page, a lot of projects did. But I was particularly excited about which award Kaspa won. At least it had some relevance to what we're all proud of with the Kas tech. So yeah, it was a blast. Honestly, I wrote up a little. Or I guess a long X post about the trip, and I'm kind of just repeating some of it here. But the people are great. I mean, the Kaspa Romania crew are just impressive, and honestly, it's in line with everything else in Kas. I mean, this is just the culture of the people and the community that we've all built together, I guess. But they're great. I mean, it was fantastic hosts, fantastic dinners, great food. The conference itself was fun. I'm always most excited about the things that you kind of don't think about when you go to a conference or a trip like this. It's the kind of individual one-on-one conversations that you have and the stories you hear from people, finally putting faces to names. We spend so much time online that there were like 3 or 4 people that, I was talking to for like 3 or 4 minutes, you know, and then it finally hits you. They introduce themselves at the beginning, and you're like, oh yeah, hi, I'm Ashton, whatever. And then 3, 4 minutes later, you go, wait, you're that guy? I've been talking to you for months. I get it now, you know. So those moments are a lot of fun. But yeah, our I think partnership conversations, you know, new projects, new building was our biggest takeaway. And I finally met our marketing guy. You know, I've been working with Chris for, I don't know, a year and a half ish, even before Nacho started, and finally got to see his face and shake his hand. So it was a really fun event, and you know, I hope to go to more of these, and I encourage everyone else, if you can afford it, if you can get there, and you're like, I don't know if I'm the person to be at this conference, or I don't know if there's anything there for me to do. There's plenty to do, and you know, even just simple community members that participate in CAS or whatever the conference is about. There's plenty to do, and it's well worth your time. So I hopefully we see more people there. Hint, Chris, Levendi.
I promise I will. I've got stupid work that I need to do. I hate stupid work. I tell you what, if I ever get to a point where like Kaspa frees me from having to build my business, I will be all over all of these events 100%. But I was thinking, like, you must be, because you've been to the Australian event and now the Romanian one, you must be the most travelled American ever in the history of America.
That's hilarious, because I joke around how like uncultured and lack of travel all of us are all the time, and specifically me. So I spent the first 33 years of my life not leaving the United States, and I'm not even talking about just like I was born and raised in Los Angeles, you know, like I could throw a rock into Mexico, and I still to this day have never been to Mexico. Yeah, I've never been to Hawaii. It's one of our states. You just got to cross the ocean to get there. So yeah, Romania was my 3rd time out of America ever. I started in the Amazon in Peru for the first time, and then Sydney, and then Romania. So I am definitely excited about checking the destinations off the bucket list, but I am not well traveled at all, even for an American.
Oh, I'm just playing with you, man. It's cool. Because to be honest with you, America's so fucking massive. It's like traveling the world just to get over from one place to another. So, I mean, it's fair.
Well, you can definitely go places in America and feel like, holy shit, I must not be in America anymore. This is completely different than what I know. So I kind of agree with you.
Oh, I love it. But it's cool because, again, Kaspa's opened up all of these opportunities for you to see the world. And Romania is a lovely place, and they do really incredible food. I had, I'm just going to say it's pig. It was pig, but it was a fancy name. I can't remember what the name was, but it was the best pig I'd ever tasted, like bar none. Yeah, Romanian food is fucking incredible.
It was fantastic, man. I really enjoyed it. And these people just pour their hearts into things. I mean, there's this they probably would find it disrespectful, but I've been calling it moonshine. It's essentially one of these Kaspa Romania community members, and I guess it's normal in Romania as a whole, like a part of the culture. A lot of people make this alcohol at their house out of a specific fruit that I can't remember, if I'm honest, but he just made it and brought all these Kaspa bottles, and then we're looking at the bottle and we're like, it's painted, and his wife had hand painted all of these bottles with the Kaspa logo, and he gave them out to us and then gave out to some at the conference. So I mean, it's good food, it's great people. It was cold as hell, and I had delayed baggage for about a day and a half, so I was rocking actually Wolfie's bar hoodie, the zip up that he sent me, as my only outerwear for like a day. And like, yeah, they kept telling me the degrees, and I'm like, oh, it's not that bad, but it's Celsius. So again, uncultured. I don't know if it's me or you guys, but I can't hear anything.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay,
you.
I think maybe Chris is lagging there, but I think X is rugging. I saw a huge chunk of people just get disconnected and come back. And in the back end, I'm speaking with Crypto Pumps, and he's like, "Yeah, Phil, I think your space ain't gonna get recorded." And I'm like, "Yeah, fucking hope not." And he goes, "Oh, next that is we're here," which made me laugh. But look, Chris ended up getting rugged. I think everyone's getting rugged. What the fuck? I'm here talking to myself. No one's up here. Oh god. Seems like everyone's in the back end. Well, I guess if you're hearing me, then it's time to end. I've sent invites. It's not working. It looks like the whole space has crashed. We'll try again next week. Good night, guys.